start talking. Okay, welcome to the workshop agenda
That was good.
meeting for March 10th, 2026.
Yeah, not for important.
Is there a motion to open the workshop?
Yes.
Trustee Gupta, second trustee Suma. All in favor, we're missing, Mike is still talking and Ryan is on her way. We'll have two in a minute. First thing on our agenda for this is a discussion of making sure that everyone is okay with this letter of support for the Route 9 corridor safety enhancement project. Matt can speak to this, but I can also just do a little intro that the State Department of Transportation asked if all of the municipalities who have been involved in the process would send in a letter of support to the state because it, all the work they've done so far doesn't have any funding. And they're trying to show alignment about, from all the municipalities.
Yeah,
The draft that we have, I just want to call out that I had wanted to remove the specificity of the numbers in it, and that's the only edit I would have in it. There's,
Number of turnarounds.
Number of
Yeah, there's-
roundabouts and signals, which is fine. These are not, they sent us a template, but they did not say that there's anything wrong with deviating from it, just to quickly echo Christie, the goal of this is to secure funding for the next phase of the project, which takes it from the 30% design drawings that have been done to actual engineering drawings and an implementation plan. And that is no small amount of money that the legislature has to find in the budget. They're currently in the budgeting process. They have been late every year, but they're just on something else. I was speaking to Susan Tolchin, Andrea Stewart Cousins, chief of staff, a couple of weeks ago, and she said that they were dedicated to getting it there on time this year. So we'll see, but getting them this letter from all of the municipalities individually is a strong group of voices saying we would like you to continue this project.
Sure. So the specific changes to the end of the paragraphs would be installed at X number of sections, or just take that out?
Yeah, Christie can send you her, she did a slight rewrite.
I can tell you right now, that if you see there's a number like 22, just cross, it still reads if you take the numbers
At
out.
signalized intersections. and
Yeah.
With 12 modern roundabouts.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
we thought you'd take out the numbers.
You just take out the numbers and it's fine.
I just want, because of the, I wouldn't want to give any sort of acknowledgement or
Pre-approval.
pre-approval of the total number, because there's so many of both of those things that are in DOFs, that it's just like, yes, we want them to keep moving with the project, but not that specific.
I'll put it on letterhead.
So, if anyone, this is the point of our discussion, is to make sure everyone's comfortable with doing that.
And specific instructions on who gets the letter?
It's got an address on it. It's
I
the,
mean, copies, last time we missed.
oh, yeah,
In a mirror, so-
we should probably copy both Mary Jane and Andrea as a courtesy, if nothing else, but also let them know that we're in support. Thank you, Lori.
County dues.
No, I just remember the
Oh,
last
okay.
letter, we forgot to include a copy to Mr. Imamura, so I wanted to make sure you had.
Good,
what
good.
you needed.
Thank you.
It doesn't hurt to copy extra people, but we should definitely copy our legislators.
So,
Great. Okay. Number 2. 15-minute free quick stop parking. Is Margaret here? Margaret, you want to come up?
Yep.
Intro to this is not intended to be a discussion about whether or not there should be free parking in the township. That can be a discussion at another point.
This is.
We're gonna do that as a cage match.
Yes, cage match.
Yeah, this is Park Mobile, right?
This is specifically because there is the 15-minute free parking that was added when Park Mobile launched as a way of acknowledging the years of, I don't know,
You could push the button on the meter.
the years where it was not, where they were changing the processes and they were trying to give a gift back, not a gift, not a gift. They were trying to acknowledge the difficulty of what had happened by giving a free, 15-minute option. When it started, I don't know if it was intended to always be that way, but it has been regardless. And so now the question is, because of the budget, we have to make sure that we're all just recognizing that if we keep the 15-minute quick stop parking, there is a transaction fee associated with that. So, whatever money Park Mobile collects, will be minus that transaction fee. So we're not paying Park Mobile something specifically out of pocket for it, we're just getting a transaction fee less for that, even though they didn't spend any money, because it still is going through Park Mobile, right? And so it could be somewhere around 18K more that we would have gotten from Park Mobile. Is that for the fee?
That's at the 40 cent fee.
That's just the fee. I mean, because like, the only reason I point out is like, if we're also, then we would also be charging them for that 15 minutes. So it would be like the fee, but they would also be charged the 15
Well,
minutes.
you can jump,
You
no,
would make more parking money
You would
as
make
well
more
as not
money.
losing the fee.
And you would make more because you wouldn't, or you would be making more parking money that then the fee would be removed from, instead of not making parking money.
so if somebody put in 15 minutes, it'd be 25 cents.
Mm.
So that's not gonna get us anywhere, right?
It's-
Because they take a
It'll
percentage
be 25%, the 25 cents.
plus the
plus the
40
fee.
cents, right?
So we both don't spend the 18 grand a year and we make our piece of 25 cents.
It's not a minimum.
No, that's not good either. Because that costs money also.
Right, but are we gonna jump to $1 as a minimum?
Should have been, always should have.
No, it's only $1 minimum in the kiosks.
We should have been, is what I'm saying, for a credit card transaction, always should have been.
Well, so we didn't make that decision. We made the decision to continue it along the lines that it had been of paying for 15 minutes, as it was during the meters. We could certainly talk about whether that's an improvement we should make. But, you know, in addition to, you know, it wasn't only acknowledging that there was a transition to Park Mobile that was going to, you know, not be instant and gentle. It was also because we wanted to make it easy for people to come to the downtown, run a quick errand and not have to fumble around with their phone and do all of the logistics. It was, so there was a, you know, helping the merchants with people running in and doing quick transactions. So there was a policy decision, not just for transition purposes, but for making it easy for people to come to the downtown and run a quick errand, dry cleaner, pick up pizza, whatever. I think we also, you know, this was coming out of at least a year and probably closer to 2 years where parking was just free.
Because
And
nothing was working.
and nothing was working. Like the meters were 3G and 3G went away, so we had to.
Cell service anyway, but.
Not, well, actually, we did have 3G cell service more than we have any cell service right now. But so there was like, there were a lot of factors that went into this. You know, and, you know, choosing Park Mobile was a function of, it was the way things were going in the country and the county.
Yeah.
And also just like the costs of replacing the meters. So we did want to make it easier, but we also wanted to make it easier for people to stop in the downtown. Personally, of these three options, I think we should maintain it as is. When Jeff and I spoke in January, his estimate was that we have net $170,000 of meter, you know, Park Mobile revenue coming in. You know, we could make it go up by taking away the first 15 minutes, but I still think it serves the function that it was supposed to serve when we started it.
Right, so the reason we're talking about this now is because budget and then wanting to know whether making sure that we are aware that we could be accounting for more income if we eliminated the 15-minute free parking thing. Or we just are acknowledging, no, we want to keep it how it is, and keep working with that.
So there's three options. The first one is keep it exactly as it is, and we are putting out $18,000 about for absorbing that cost. The second one is to eliminate it, and then the parker will pay their 25 cents plus the 40 cents. They'll absorb that cost, so it'll be 65 cents to park for 15 minutes. Or the third option is to kind of a hybrid. If they do it on their phone, they pay the 40-cent fee and the 25 cents, but if they pay at a kiosk, they can still get the 15-minute free without the 40-cent fee.
That's right. And I guess my question is, because I'm still confused. We're paying for a transaction fee.
Right, and that's why if you do it at the kiosk, you're not paying the transaction because you're not paying Park Mobile at the kiosk.
All right, okay. So I'm just looking at it from equal protection. Are we giving money as a gift to somebody and not somebody else, or?
No, it's operationally different.
It's a convenience.
Service is more expensive to do it from your phone than it is from.
Right, so I guess my question to Jeff is, do we absorb a transaction fee for any other transaction? You still have to ask for 15 minutes free on the app?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct,
And we still have
because,
that, but that's a transaction fee.
and you have to do that so that the parking enforcement officer knows you asked for it.
Yeah.
You have to start a session or else you'll get a ticket.
Yeah.
Right, and I guess my question is, do we absorb transaction fees for any other credit card payment?
Paying the credit card. We absorb a fee, everyone.
So if you go to the kiosk and
That's
put,
why I was saying $1 minimum, because otherwise you can end up paying for somebody to park. Instead of them paying you to park.
If they only park for 25
But you're
cents.
talking about two different transaction fees. You, what you're, Jeff's talking about credit card transaction fees. So when you swipe your card, the credit card company charges you 3% or whatever that swipe is.
Right.
You're talking about the transaction fee through Park Mobile, different transaction fee, but both apply.
okay,
So basically, you could save $18,000 if you want to change it. Or you could do the hybrid, which means we'll save some money, not the whole 18,000, depending on how if people are willing to go to the kiosk to get the 15 minutes free.
But the gift issue, this is what you're talking about, is if it's ubiquitous to the community, is there a problem? Like we're saying, we're gonna pay 42 cents for everybody,
yeah, but if you
Of
walk
the
to the
parking
kiosk, you're not.
correct?
Okay, just so okay, now I understand.
But there's not that many kiosks and they're spread far apart. And so if I want to make I have to walk 6 minutes each way, like it doesn't make any sense to walk to the kiosk.
I think
to
we're
pick up your
giving
people.
someone 15 minutes free. Like, I think there's a million ways you could say that sentence so that.
I just think if you're doing it for everybody, it's not like a gift, it's not where we're singling out an individual to give a gift to. It's everyone, that's the policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you're saying is the free 15 minutes benefits the merchants, and if there's a public benefit associated with that.
And the
15
users, it
minutes-
benefits the
We're
residents.
not debating whether or not it's legal to do what we are already doing, because we already did that, right?
I don't know, it sounded like Lori Lee was bringing that up. That's why I'm just making sure.
No, there was never this additional fee, right?
For what?
Has there always been
Yeah, there's always.
this
Yeah.
$18,000 fee?
I mean, it's not an
Well, it was
$18,000
14.
fee.
Now it's.
It is a 40-cent per transaction fee that used to be slightly lower,
Got it.
but now at 40 cents, the net
Revisiting it.
loss is 18,000 and change anticipated if the levels of parking stay the way they are.
Correct.
And the percentage of 15-minute sessions stays the way they are.
Correct.
Okay, so now that everyone understands it, right?
Does everyone understand it?
Yes.
Well, I guess my question is, if you're, cause when I do the 15 minutes, I still do the app.
No one says you still have.
Yeah, yeah, so
you
how?
don't pay anything.
But.
The
and I was-
village-
You don't
So we're
pay
giving
anything,
Park
we do.
Mobile-
So when you put it into the app,
Yeah,
Park Mobile processes that. Park
yeah,
Mobile's getting 40 cents from.
yeah, but I'm saying, if you charge the person the parking, it's nominal. Like, I wouldn't
But
mind paying,
it feels worse.
but you're still, I feel like it's more annoying to have to go into the app and do that, and that is
So
barrier.
we're
That,
setting
that, we're not,
You're
that
gonna
was
have to
not
do
a
that anyway.
that was not on today's, on the table.
No, but I'm
today.
saying, so I don't see, I don't see the argument of like, why not
The
just
argument
charging.
not to change it now
Yeah,
is that over the next year, 6 months, 1 month, we are certainly going to be looking more incisively into the question of whether we should have metered parking in the downtown. There are a number of municipalities around us that are exploring this, and it's something that we want to explore. That doesn't mean that we will end up with it. Matt and I are having a cage match about it, et cetera, but
So it's related to the larger issue.
it's not, it's only, but the decision we make here, knowing that we might make potentially yet another different decision when we have been like limping to the start line on all of this stuff for the last like 8 years, is why we might wanna, that is an argument from my perspective, and not changing the user experience right now, and the user experience is already incredibly frustrating, given that we don't have cell service, that a lot of people don't like using Park Mobile, that we only have a few kiosks, which are quite far apart because they are very expensive, and there's a taxpayer implication to adding more kiosks. So I will jump in and say, my perspective is we should leave it as is from the user experience side of it. It is, yes, it is 18 grand less generated revenue, but you could also, it's not like there.
I mean, the difference is gonna be 4,000 from the increase. We've been absorbing 14,000.
Right, and now-
It's not gonna be
So we're
4,000.
basically generating less revenue. I wouldn't necessarily say we're like paying more, right? The opportunity to.
Yeah, I mean, and that's.
But I'm inviting the policymakers to have a conversation about, like, if you think about it, like, we always are doing this balance of, are we generating, we're trying to maximize the capital extracted out of whatever transaction, or are we trying to like create an environment that's getting the results that we want, and like 4,000 here, 4,000 there, like, I mean, I can think of a bunch of different ways we could earn 4,000 more dollars for the village that would be like less painful for residents and users of the downtown and have a bigger impact than like scraping that 4 grand off at the top of this, given the amount of that already very bad feeling that people have about parking in downtown.
Yes, and it's a work in progress. We're gonna change in 4 to 6 months anyway, so why do that?
There's a possibility that we might, and so if.
And I also wanna just outline, it's not like this is coming from nowhere. I feel like it was a discussion I would hope to have had, but then the Hastings is really more what's driving me having concern over it, is that if at some point in a few months, Hastings, Irvington and Ardsley all have free downtown parking, I feel like that is definitely worth a discussion of us to just make sure that, yes, we're still cool with doing what we're doing, or should we change something or what, you know? And so I feel like that's more of a trigger than just, you know, the existing situation.
Keep it as is.
And so if we change this, and then like, basically the talking point would be, there's no 15 free minute parking anymore, is the takeaway. And that would suck to then go from that to be like, and then we're gonna look at it again, and now Hastings is free, and it's like,
Perception.
there's a lot of.
You
just
can
wanna make sure
change
that
it
we're
anytime.
controlling the.
Yeah.
You can
slope
change it
when
anytime.
comes to- Yeah,
And you were
but we
gonna,
can change it still later,
We're
but
gonna
for
say-
budget reasons.
But
why
it's
we're
budget
talking about it
season.
now.
but didn't,
Budgetarily,
For spazzing as reasons.
budgetarily, I projected a full year of parking revenue, so if there's the chance that that's not happening, that budget we talked about yesterday, we need to change.
No, we know.
We cut.
We know something would have to change if we did that mid-year, but I don't
But I
know.
know, I'm saying this budget.
Right, no, I know.
right now Should change, it should be reduced on.
But we don't have enough.
But we don't know that we're
information.
doing that, so we can't
But
do
you-
that.
You're thinking about.
But
Well,
the
we're
things
also
we're
thinking about raising fees in other areas, and we're not projecting for that either, so. I mean, I think we understand, I understand, that these are all
I go
related.
conservative, I go the other way than thinking, if you're thinking of cutting it, I would cut it. And if you're thinking about raising it, but you're not sure, I would not add it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing to me.
And, didn't Mary Beth say that she thought she wasn't paying this fee? Did we?
And that was a concern I had.
So-
They
Figure that out?
didn't think they were paying this fee that we're
Not
saying.
convinced that Mary Beth is understanding that
Yeah.
she probably is paying and it's just a different fee that she's not seeing. So we're trying to actually go directly to Park Mobile to see how these contracts work. And I think Margaret spoke to somebody, but
Yeah.
I still haven't confirmed that that's the case.
I spoke to our rep at Park Mobile. She said, absolutely, it's non-negotiable. And I said, but we seem to think that it might be, that Hastings might have this. And she said, it's one of two things. Either she doesn't understand that it's already taken out before they get it, so they're not
Yeah.
cutting a check, which could be just a perception. Or Hastings started with Park Mobile in 2013, so someone could have negotiated long ago, and at some point they changed it to this is a non-negotiable.
I remember, when we did this initially, didn't Hastings come to us and say, how did you do that? Wasn't there? I
Our rate
remember
is,
that.
our transaction fee is better than Hastings.
Mhm.
Hastings transaction fee is 55 cents. Ours is 40.
I asked her for the contract too, because I wanted to read it and give it out to everybody, so everybody reads it. I haven't seen it yet. Maybe it's proprietary.
It is proprietary.
No, I'm so, this, we're talking about $4,000.
Public
Like,
doc,
can we just, like, what, like, we approve, like, much larger, much more important things with much less discussion. It's $4,000. That's the increase. No, it's $4,000
The
increase.
delta is.
right,
So like,
I think
it's like, can we just leave it as it is? Because everyone's,
Yeah,
people
let's leave it.
are dissatisfied, but they're gonna be way more dissatisfied if we tinker with it and we do this petty little thing, like.
And it is
just-
petty.
Yeah, let's just.
People perceive it as that.
All right, cool, we have enough.
If
So
Hastings
we'll move on.
in fact gets it for free, I just was trying to figure that out for your benefit.
Oh, yeah.
Then you get.
Absolutely,
18
sure,
back.
But since nobody knows and it
Yeah.
seems unlikely,
We know that probably not.
and even if they do, we're not gonna get it, so, I mean.
Oh,
All right,
Don't underestimate Lori, negotiating.
Just.
on to Sue, thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Can I ask one question about the sewer thing, just as a baseline, because I didn't see it on the sheet, is what, I see the Ardsley, Irvington, et cetera, rates here, what is our rate?
$1.35 for CCI.
Okay, so then we are significantly below our neighbors.
Has it gone up for how many years? 15 years?
Would you come and tell us
It's
about
never
this?
been raised after it was.
Please, I swear we'll consider all of the parking.
Charlene.
Where?
We'll make it up.
This is like 5 years ago, right, that the sewer fee went in 7 years? 2019, that's that. Okay, it's just like.
Okay.
Okay, before we read, hold on.
Increment by one.
Uh-oh, Laura wants to bring back to one, the letter.
I'm sorry, I got caught in fire. The letter of support for the Route 9 state, I have a real problem with that, I'm really concerned about the traffic circle around Ashford and Broadway. I live right there. There's so many kids that cross that street, and right now it's a scramble light pattern, which allows all four the cars to stop on all sides so that pedestrians can cross. It's right near the school. I think putting a traffic circle there would make it less safe for pedestrians, so.
So there was a 2-year-long public process where notes were given, analysis was done, research was done, the experience in. I'm quoting back from WSP, which is the engineering firm, that it is safer, and I cannot redo their argument, but they made a real.
Yeah.
Not.
Yes, because you're crossing behind the cars as they,
And
it's actually safer.
Cars are going.
Walking through a traffic circle is safer than a scramble. I find that very hard.
It absolutely, well, I will find the argument out, but
Well, let me
now's
tell
not
you
the time
also-
to like litigate, like.
Yeah, but
That's
that's my position.
No, I mean,
totally
that's
against the.
one of the reasons, the letter has specific numbers of roundabouts and whatever the other thing is, electric traffic
Signals.
signals, they're adding signals also that there's some public
So there's-
issues with.
Okay.
And so I asked to remove the numbers, because I do think that there's huge, I think that the public, as time passes and like different people move in or whatever, I would imagine this is still gonna have to go through more processes, because it's only 30% designed. We're gonna have more options, more ability.
Okay, as long as there's signals, that's.
But like, I would say that to move the
There aren't
process
signals
forward.
at the roundabouts
Oh,
in the current
No,
plan.
there's additional signals at like Clinton and
Oh.
there's
Clinton
multiple
and Chestnut
new
in Dobbs
signals
Ferry.
and roundabouts
Okay,
that I've just heard from
Yes.
the public of concerns. And
Okay.
so I acknowledge those things.
okay.
And so I.
I don't have
removed
strong
the
opinions
count.
on latching to this idea.
I took the counts out because I don't want any kind of preconceived notion that we are in favor of the design with these numbers of things in
Yeah.
it. But I do think that traffic improvements and safety improvements and the work that they're doing, I agree that that is important and it would be nice for it to be funded. But it would also still be,
There is room
room for change.
some changes
Mhm.
into the current plan. The WSP's, the way they said it is as long as it doesn't change the environmental review, there can be changes. They are not delighted about big changes, but like eliminating that particular roundabout, because that is, as they said from the very beginning, that is the most problematic and dangerous intersection in the Route 9 corridor between Yonkers and Sleepy Hollow. But as long as we don't go outside the footprint that they did their environmental review in, there is room for changes. This letter simply says, please state, provide more money so that we can continue the process of getting towards final
It's
design.
not funded yet.
Yeah, okay.
And I think
The
also
longer
this just,
takes, the more different, like I wasn't on the board, I could have gone to all these meetings, yes, but I have reservations too, of certain parts of it, but.
We, at an ICOM meeting a number of years ago, we took a field trip to roundabout upstate, and it helps so much when you see it in person, because you see where the queue is and the crosswalks are clearly completely behind the queue. So it's a safer,
They're
Right.
protected refuges in the middle
But
of
it's all
it,
still,
but still,
Yeah.
it's premature to have
Yeah.
that detailed conversation.
but,
But I'm happy to talk to you about it and take you through the plans.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, I did look at the
Website.
video, and yeah.
but I think also like this points to, and maybe this is something we should put in the letter, I don't know if we should, but that we do have the most problematic intersection of the entire corridor that they're looking at, and the safety is, I mean, I went to a couple of these things, and safety and multimodal travel are the top priority. So they want more people walking, they want more kids biking, they want more people on buses and all that stuff, and they're just, I mean,
And not to kill them.
I'm not gonna, and not to kill them, and I'm certainly not gonna, I mean, about my, Route 9 traffic light stuff, like this is not a perfect plan yet at all by any means, but the design and the process so far has been toward these things that we all share, and that of course we're all prioritizing like kids' safety, but I also think that like the assumption that that shouldn't become a roundabout, which is one that I hear from all of the parents I know in that area, assumes that intersection continues to serve the function that it's serving right now, which assumes all these other things aren't being improved either, and because it's a corridor long thing. But I also think that the fact that there's still so many folks, including you, who's now on the board, lives near there, who is, came in with that impression that it's going to be such a detriment to our children's safety. Maybe we should add a line that's like, we hope and expect that whatever the next phase is, will do a more kind of like incisive job of getting people.
I would suggest not doing that, just because that injects a note of doubt and criticism in a letter of support. We can do all of those things.
Or we continue to think that like the listening sessions that you did were so important, and we hope that they will continue in a way that's like to the neighbors that will be affected by the big changes that might be coming or something. I don't know. You can think about
I would rather leave it just as an unbridled, please fund this, and then we go and make I mean, they've got a long catalog of comments that were not yet addressed. I'm sure there are some that are that specific. So I would just make this about, please give us the money. not give us the money, but please provide the funding.
Not necessarily for.
This is for design. There's a whole other hurdle for the hundreds of millions of dollars to build.
Just get the money.
So give us money.
I think like.
Give DOT.
Okay, we gotta move on. Sewer rates are gonna take a minute.
Right, sure.
Can I make a motion, turn on the AC?
Yeah.
I will second that motion while.
Thank you.
We need a motion added to the agenda and then we vote on this.
All right, sewer rates. Jeff, take it away.
Take it away.
Tell us, if we need to raise the sewer rates, we haven't done it in a very, very long time, and
Right.
sewers need a lot of money to fix them.
Correct.
That is a big solution.
So that's the long story short.
Sewers were, the sewer rent was established not that long ago, so it's not, like a super historic.
There's a lower number.
But it was established at a rate that I'm not quite sure what it was based on.
We didn't know
It
at that
was-
point,
Right.
so.
Because now they have all of the, data from the
So it was based on.
CCTV.
I can tell you it was based.
Yeah, go, you
Yeah,
go.
it was based on an estimate of how much it was gonna cost for engineering to find out what needed to happen,
Got it.
because the initial plan was to have the study done.
Right, and this is the sewer, not the storm drain.
Correct.
This is
Okay.
the flow monitoring.
Flow monitor.
So it kind of, it stalled for a number of years and, we're looking at it now. We have a number from Anthony projecting, what do you say, about 500,000, half a million, of repairs this coming year.
That's just first phase of it. Big hand.
And that's the flow monitoring chart that I recently discussed with him, that they're gonna identify the areas of the flow monitoring to start with, like it'll be incremented.
So that's.
So-
just to orient us to this chart.
Yep.
Where is that 500?
So I'm gonna start out at the first number under 692. That's the 500,000. I'm gonna project it a little higher.
First number under 692.
The first number is 692.
Is 692.
So if you look at it,
Oh, 690.
It's ES 81-2200 is 692.
Got it.
Correct. So I project a little bit higher because we know over the next couple of years, that expense is not gonna go down. It's probably gonna go up. I don't think we wanna go back every year and change the rates every year. So I'm projected a little bit higher. So I'm projecting about $1 million in total expenditures, this coming year
So this is for the budget year that we're
Correct.
currently.
that we're going into.
Okay.
That we're going into, yep. I've taken the historical CCF usage for the just last year, basically,
Cause it's charged based on consumption.
consumption,
Yeah.
yep,
CCFs.
yep. And the projection is based on 453,000 CCFs, about $2.12 per CCF.
so this would be to raise the rate to 212.
212 from $1.35.
Okay. So
Is
just
that
so
enough?
everyone's clear, everyone's sewer bill is gonna go up, is gonna double, close to it.
For two.
One 3 to 2.
1.3 to 2.12.
270 would be doubling it, but it's close, yeah, it's close.
So
Significant.
So significant, increase, not a 10%.
And then, and the way that you're billed for sewer, like what, do we have like average? Use, so that you can have an understanding of what a person might see different in use.
It's difficult to project that and, I mean, you can go from very little, depending on one person or
The
10 person.
reason it's so variable and it's hard to predict is that if you are irrigating your landscape, so I can have a very small house and a lot of plants and I'm irrigating my landscape, you are charged a percentage of how much water you use, not how much water you put into the system. So if I am in an apartment building, you're just consuming the water that goes to your shower and your sink, et cetera. But if I live in a very small house and I have a big garden and I'm irrigating my garden, I'm gonna pay a lot at sewer rent because I'm consuming a lot of water. That's the only way we have to measure is on consumption of water. We don't have a way to measure through this, what you're outputting.
Right.
So
At
that's
the
just-
beginning of this the reason that this began as a thing at all is because the sewers for the entire village need work. And property taxes were paying for it, and having a sewer rent distributes the money required to fix it to all all users, so it
Including
goes
tax
to
exempt.
the tax exempt properties. So if we were to had to do this with only property taxes, it would have cost the residents significantly more to pay for the upgrades that goes to all of the properties.
And the local law does have an appeal process, so if you have a large irrigation usage, you can appeal and provide evidence of the second meter or the secondary meter or the flow meter. You can provide evidence of that, because Veolia runs your water system. You can provide that and you can get a reduction in your CCF as total based upon the evidence in your appeal. That this is the percentage of the usage that I'm putting in the ground and it's not going into the county.
Currently, that percentage discount is 10%.
And how many people?
Not a lot.
Not a lot, yeah. So
If you're not on the sewers at all and you have septics, you're not charged.
Which is also a pretty low number.
Yes.
It's also a low number, correct?
So you also had on here our neighbors, right?
Correct. So I have,
Where are you getting that? Did we get that?
At the bottom of the chart.
So our
But it doesn't
pictures
have
their
any-
names, But it doesn't have.
It doesn't have any number. Oh, they're across. That's what that is. I'm sorry. I didn't make the. I didn't-
Yeah. Over on the other side.
You can tell it on the. Yeah, well, because I zoom in.
Oh, that's what those numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
It was when I love it, I just thought it was,
I had a blower meeting.
so ours is already at 2.12.
Yeah.
One to, or
Tarrytown,
1,000 to 2,000.
Hampshire.
yeah, Irvington, keep in mind, Irvington has their own water system, doesn't it? They're not on Veolia water, are they?
But I think, look, the comparison is useful, but ultimately the rate is set as a function of the repairs to the system. So we're looking at, I actually think this is this is kind of on the low side, given all the things we know are problems and all the things we know we have to repair, not to mention the things we don't know we have to repair. So
But I
I
do
think
think we should get into an annual update of it, not once every 5 years, right? Is that not?
Probably every couple of years, every few years.
Yeah, that would
right?
be
Yeah.
inflation is once
Then
we
you,
got
then we should
that.
build a rate that'll last for a few years.
That's why I bumped up the estimate of, the equipment and infrastructure.
Do you think we
repairs.
bumped it up enough though for 3 years worth of,
It depends, depends on what work is done.
I mean,
And we have,
there's all you got.
there's about 1.8 million in cash now sitting there, so.
okay, that's gonna make a lot of inroads towards Wall Grove and some other things like that. Okay, I mean, I think this is exactly how you should be doing it. Glad we're doing it now. So should we have done it
And so to
a
do
few years
this,
ago? Yeah.
is it vote, public hearing? How do we?
It has to go to public hearing because it needs to be done by public hearing. So if you
Okay.
want to schedule that,
Can we schedule it here now? Are we allowed? Is that allowed to do?
Well, there's gonna have to be a draft.
I mean, it can come after the fact, resolved.
Great.
It doesn't have to.
She has all the information, I think, to do it.
I just thought we had to publish a draft,
Closing the
with
$2.
notice of a public hearing.
Well, when she notices the public hearing,
Yeah,
there'll be
no.
a draft.
Right, so.
I think we're voting to provide notice, right?
Right, so you wanna set a date or, let me get to you.
Open on the 24th.
Mhm.
First, and usually it's the 13th.
I guess it's like the more.
You want a resolution on the 24th to set a date? Cause you want this to be in place before you adopt your budget, is that, cause you want to be able to use?
By June 1, we would want to change the.
Okay, so you have time. Okay, so you want me to draft a resolution to set a public hearing?
Yes.
Or that's the Public Service Commission hearing. I seem to remember we had to do something for the PSC when we set the rate the first time.
Yeah, so I'll review the local code and we'll put it on for a resolution. to set a date. Let's see, the BOT agenda on 4/24, and you want to set a date. I'm sorry, I'm already in spring.
Yeah, well, wait
My
until next
nappies
week.
are up this high. Okay, to set a date for a public hearing. Okay, I can do that. I just put it on as a to-do. Yeah, if that meets, publication and it meets the, April 14th is the proposed. Okay, I can get that done. I have, someone standing in for me on the 24th, so. But I'll have it all ready for everybody before I go. Are we making fun?
Shoot, we have 15 minutes left.
Talk about a roundabout somewhere.
Talk about traffic. Oh, what about liaison reports and?
Oh, let's do liaison report.
And old business. What
It's
about
old business.
communication policy?
It was adopted.
What was the document?
Communication
Oh, we
policy.
need the.
That's what I think of every time I.
I was hoping we could revisit the tree,
You're gonna
the
be.
diameter tree that needs to be reported to the
Right.
department.
I want you to
I'll take
describe it this way.
Okay, liaison reports. Who has stuff to share from their posts in their liaison capacity? Go, Patino.
I have nothing to report, from my bullets.
Okay, you have stuff, go.
Well, if it's gonna be on the workshop next week, it's not really that important, but the CIB has identified a grant opportunity that would provide money to buy property for conservation purposes. And has a couple of suggested parcels that we don't know whether there is an interested seller of them. Well, the one we know is an interested seller is the school district wanting to sell the property that's currently eroding into Draper Lane, so we don't really want that property. But there are some additional parcels, among them potentially up at the Knoll, which is interesting to me just in terms of like, blocking that from happening again. But then there are some also behind the DPW that could help complete a trailway to into the Hastings trails and sort of connectivity between Chauncey Park and the Hastings trails. But under the rubric of, of conservation. So the mayor said she would put that on for a workshop next week. I'm not gonna be able to be here next Tuesday night. But I've asked Matthew Scott Hansen and Daniel Lurgis, who are at the CAB and who identified this grant opportunity, to come and participate in that workshop.
This is for acquisition of open space.
Acquisition of privately held land that would be then put towards conservation use.
Okay.
I think I copied you on the email, or I may not have.
As you know, the reserve was purchased through a federal grant. In the era
This
of,
is a state grant.
in the Kennedy era, actually, it's a federal grant that allowed you to purchase the preserve.
Yeah, this is state money. The deadline for the grant application is April 15th. So there's a little time to discuss whether we want to go forward with that.
Does it include matching funds?
I don't know the details. They will know the details when they come in on,
Does that leave us, yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to give a heads up to Valerie or to Fiona or someone so they can start to look at what.
I want us to discuss as a board whether or not we want to do that, Lori B. That's
Okay.
the next step.
that's all for me.
Okay, go.
Well, I would like to say. Sometime, I don't know, but I'd like to get from the trucks committee speed hump policy. And always stop signs as a workshop, we can do that. Just get
And
that.
what, always
Always
stop
stop
sign?
Stop signs.
Yeah, they can send more specific information then.
Yeah, do you want to send it to you?
Yeah.
I will send it to you.
I think the traffic committee sent
Traffic calming.
that also already to the administrator. So,
We're trying.
You sent it to me?
Was a while ago.
Oh, okay. Send it to me.
Reset.
Resend.
Actually, yeah. You know exactly where the file is.
So we're looking at traffic calming. Is that, okay.
Traffic calming.
Maybe not only speed humps.
Hmm?
Maybe not only speed humps
That's what I'm saying.
is what.
Yes, the traffic calming.
All right, anything else? We have, oh, you missed I'll talk about nominating committee last night.
So that was fun.
That was good. So we had nominating committee, met
How do we keep them all?
4 more, I think.
Total of 9.
Yeah.
right? 9 candidates.
Yeah, well, 1 didn't show, so I think there's a total of 8 candidates.
For the backboard?
For the backboard. And like, I mean, there's 8 people that can definitely do all sorts of things. And so the nominating committee is like the 3 of us were on it and we gave, some input and it's ultimately our decision as to who we're gonna have meet with the VAC next. But they're gonna give us their recommendation. They're gonna do some numbers as to like who's got what skills and race
Candidates.
data, organize a chart.
and Jason on the nominating committee just sent us an invitation to discuss it on December 12th, 2025.
That's wrong. So that's going great.
Click, yes.
Click yes.
And the ambulance corps, I'm going tomorrow to get a tour of the building again, to just. If we can organize some sort of a spring cleanup with them, with volunteers who are willing to do such a thing, then they're showing me the space so I can see what that would potentially entail, so that it's, the least liable or problematic or the most helpful that we can be without overstepping with volunteers. To spruce up the joint,
You mean the exterior?
interior,
We just stuck very much.
Oh,
Yeah.
interior.
interior, like the stuff that's not necessarily the village's responsibility because it's more about. The kitchen being nice and having appliances or, we can have like a list of what their requests would be and. Recruit people to help with that.
And we should just tell Eric not to have servicing with the compressor before we get an engineer in to decide what exactly needs to be done
Oh, at the library,
at the library.
right,
It's,
Because he said he's meeting with them soon, so we
Mhm.
really should not do that. That's wasting money.
right,
and I'll make sure Eric doesn't do anything, he tends to get ahead of things, but.
right.
I did speak to the engineer, actually, so we were sitting on 684, he was car behind me, so.
Oh.
It's that kind of conversation all of a sudden. Anyway, he has the old study that he did, which he wants to bump up the proposals, he's gonna talk to his new mechanical engineers. And then he wants to, sit down, also the grant that's coming up, also, we're gonna sit down and talk about that, so it's all part and parcel. But he's gonna update his proposal to see
What grant are you talking
This
about?
is a library HVAC grant.
How much is that for?
It's a substantial amount, it's a big number, I don't know what it is. But
Ballpark.
Is the one that, is that the one that, Matthew Yorsi was emailing about writing the application for, that? Or is that a different grant?
No, I think it was different, this one's.
This was a few years ago, right?
For library upgrades, and it does include HVAC upgrades.
Do you know about this?
Their facilities.
That's something this was gonna do.
is what-
Yeah, well, we talked, I mean, the last big grant that we talked about using for the library, when you say substantial amount of money, I think you mean a few $100,000.
I think it was more. It could cover, I mean, right now, the number is like $2 million, but if you wanna put it on the roof, that kind of thing, those kind of big ones. It's not just replacing a condenser.
I'm talking, the grant money. What is the ballpark value of the grant that you're talking about?
I believe it's up to $2 million, but again, I want to see it because there's so many grants on the, like, I
Okay.
couldn't do tonight, so.
That is news to me, and that could very easily solve the problem and some.
Yes.
It's,
It's the
I
whole thing.
cannot believe that we
We need
don't
to
know about
study
this. We've been talking about this problem
We
for
haven't?
years.
Or we are applying
We're
for it?
applying for it, that's why I was trying to set a meeting, I haven't spoken to Fiona detail yet.
This is even more an imperative to have the work assessed and some preliminary design done, because it's the only way you're gonna get a quote, a number.
That's exactly what Anthony said.
So, and you can't apply, we're not gonna do anything with a grant if we don't have a project and a budget for it.
Right.
So how soon can you give us his proposal so we can
Working
just
on it as
approve?
we speak. I spoke to him this morning.
Okay.
And he knew exactly which one I was talking about.
Grant?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he knows what the.
All right.
What the,
It's not gonna take them that long to go, it's
Yes, at all.
it's a
4 years.
2-hour site visit, and then it's some research on,
Yeah,
you know, specifications.
yeah, I'll push him and get into it as quickly as possible, because we have to have the.
This is the DASNY.
This is the CSC library HVAC
Well,
grant.
maybe let's not ask him to get it as soon as he can and just give him a date by which we need it.
It's just a proposal we're asking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Like, can he, can
That's
can
all
we have
Right
it?
now, it's just a proposal.
Can we have it on, you know, a
We
week
have it
before our
before
next workshop? Can we have it Tuesday morning,
Focus on-
Monday night? That's
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Right.
So, and you're also gonna tell him to hold off on,
Yeah, Eric,
yeah.
but we just met with him regarding budgets, so a couple of the board members were here, Alex and Dave, I think. So they were here, they know what we're trying to do with this HVAC,
This was a call.
But he said he has an appointment with somebody looking at the compressor.
well, that's just to do a mold.
This-
Yeah.
That's what it's just.
It's not
just a Band-Aid on the big problem.
Between
They're just
50 grand and 2 million for
Yeah.
He's not changing it.
mitigation and climate change.
Questions of price.
I didn't know.
Yes, we have to change it from a gas powered system to electric powered heat pump system.
Who knows?
And,
Which should make it quieter, number one, and there won't be the exhaust. And so you won't need that wall next to the neighbor, and that is part of the problem. So there's no, it's not cooling itself.
well, no, we don't have a grant. We're applying
No,
for a
but
grant on
right.
Friday.
The question came up, whose responsibility is it theirs to pay for, is it ours to pay for, is it same money, is it our money given to them and they're gonna spend it, or we can spend it separately?
Or
It's the village's building, right? And you approve a budget, operating budget for the library, and any shortfall then is their responsibility to fundraise for, so I guess it's sort of a combination of cooperative effort. So is this
And
grant,
one of these,
is this a
unfortunately.
village grant or is this a library grant? Who's initiating the grant application?
the
Well, I think
village.
the library has to actually submit it.
A library.
I mean, we're doing the heavy lifting, so they,
Okay,
but I think the grant says.
We have to
be
seriously help them. We have to,
Right.
Wait, the,
okay, this,
if they're the ones signing it and ultimately submitting it, that's one thing, but we have to.
but it's a library grant.
Right now, the people that are on the call, just so everyone here is aware, there's a call on Friday to discuss this grant with Fiona.
Great.
And it is between, Sustainable is the one who brought it to us because it's a CSC grant. And so they're on the call.
Matthew Giorgi's on the call, I'm on the call, you're on the call, Rob's on the call, Fiona's on the call.
So if you would like to be on that call,
What time?
it
Friday.
is on Friday at 1:30.
Just note if there's any bonding that has to happen, the village has to be involved, because the library can't issue that.
No, Rob's on it.
I know,
Oh.
I'm just
No, I'm
making
saying
sure
that-
that it'll come to you.
Got it, yeah.
For presentation. Is it just a Zoom or?
It's a
Yeah,
Zoom. Okay. I'm sending it to you. This is
Recently.
one. We will get the details. Share on Tuesday. What else?
This is another instance in which the sustainable is like the highest ROI committee that we have in this village.
There's no high.
Even as the time.
Yeah.
But like,
I, just an update for me, we had a request from the downtown committee for, I mean, it wasn't really a formal request, but they've been talking about a night market, and so we, the mayor and I had discussed like how, when these sort of requests come through for village events, what's the normal process? And she was saying that we don't really have a process, so trustee Galen and I met today to discuss creating a process for when we get these sort of incoming events or other budget requests from committees on how we could ask them to formally request this and align it with the goals, to sort of make a case for these events. And I would assume that that would mean new events, not events like Dine Out Dogs, which has already been approved.
Well, I think we're talking about like a policy and kind of framework
Right.
for how the commissions and committees and boards interact with the village government and coffers when it comes to things that have goods and services that need to be purchased, and then a recommended like process for dealing with new ones, and then like reining in the ones that we've been doing every year, and every year we have to like revisit the thing from scratch. And then also creating like an intake form for the committees to fill out to help them make sure that they're presenting something to us that is aligned with goals and that they've thought about what budget implications are gonna be before we even have to review it. So those are like the three phases, but three elements that we will be presenting to you at some point, very soon, imminently, any day now.
And then I think I'm just curious if we had a process for that, I mean, all the grants that people send in as like, we should try for this, are great, but I feel like it's a similar, it has associated costs in the staff doing the work to apply for them, and I feel like we need to have some sort of, qualification. How likely are we to get it? I mean, we're gonna hear, I think, from Millennium tonight, that's a large grant management firm. We could also ask Fiona for some, like, can we have some parameters, or what would be a better process? So that we're not just like, saying yes to everything, and then they have to do a ton of work, and then we have to get all these grants, and then we have to execute them all, and it's like, it's not nothing,
I
so,
just put the paperwork in for the Washington Walgrove, that was 5 or 6 years old, Basney,
yeah,
and that's the
right.
length of time.
And just like the events, like they're great to have, and we wanna have them, but as we saw in the budget, it can have some impacts, so,
$1 million.
same with the
5 years.
paperwork of a grant, it, has costs associated, so. Keep looking into that, all right, 7:30, we'll read it through. Anybody wanna close this meeting? Trustee Asuma, trustee Rothrock, all in favor? Shop closed.